Welcome to Bali Talk, part of our travel talk series. We're going to dig into real questions, real comments, and travel tips from around the internet. So every week we'll break it all down, sharing what actually helps, what's funny, what doesn't, and hopefully everything you need to know before your trip to Bali. So let's get into it. One of the main things that you see a lot in the discussion groups is people having problems with their visas, what to do. So for Bali, there's 4 things that you'll need. First is your tourist visa. Generally, you only need to pay for a visa on arrival, which is a 30-day visa. You can do that up to 90 days before your arrival. They are now combined all into one called the All Indonesia Pass, which was your customs declaration and your health declaration. They need to be done within the last 72 hours before your arrival. And the last thing that you'll need is to make sure that you pay your Bali tourist levy. We'll post all the official links in the comments of this video to help you out. The other thing you'll need to do, and I would probably even do it before you even think about booking, is to make sure your passport is undamaged. Apparently, Indonesian immigration can be quite strict if your passport's damaged in any way. Dog ears, any rips or tears, any water or fluid stains, things like that. So check it out before you book. If you need to renew your passport, get a new one, you will also need to have 6 months validity from your date of arrival. So if you're arriving on the 1st of May, your passport can't expire before the 1st of November, for example. So yeah, we'll post all those links in the comments for you, and hopefully that will help you out. So what's the chat on the internet this week? Let's have a look. Try and find some interesting things to talk about. You'll get lots and lots of discussion about people asking about particular hotels or things like that. We're not going to cover those sorts of things. We're going to look for a bit more of the interesting stuff. I mean, here's a comment where someone's asking about any recommendations for shops with no... Well, they've said bartering, but it's not bartering. Bartering's where you're exchanging, goods for services or services for services, that sort of thing. Fixed price stores. I won't even go into the comments. There is so many of them around, all through Kuta, Legian, Seminyak, probably up into Canggu as well, Sanur. They're all over the place. They will normally have out the front of their shop that they're fixed priced, although you do have to be a little bit careful. You might see the fixed price sign, walk in, and things aren't individually priced. You have to ask for a price. I'd be a little bit wary of those types of stores. There are plenty which are similar to Western type stores where you will walk in and everything will have a price tag on it. So they're probably the ones to go for. And from our experience, if you're buying a few things, it's not uncommon that if you ask for a little bit of a discount that you will get it. So worth a try. But yeah, they're all over the place. So just the sign that's at the front of the shop, it will say somewhere that it's fixed price. So just keep an eye out for them. So here's one about someone asking about the tourist tax. They're asking, are there booths to pay as you exit customs at the airport? Yes, it is. Easy to do. It's still pretty easy to do online through the I Love Bali app, and you'll get sent a QR code. And they're also asking, do you need to carry around with it? So there are some talk, and I actually have seen some videos as well, where immigration are doing spot checks in some of the tourist areas. So they're asking to see passport, tourist tax, things like that. So particularly if you've done it online. I'm not sure about the doing it at the booth because I haven't done it myself. But if you do it online, yeah, you'll get the QR code and you can just save that on your phone. So if you are ever asked for it, you can just show the document on your phone and you shouldn't have a problem. Well, here's an interesting one, and this probably just doesn't only apply to Bali, it's probably wherever you're travelling. Someone's asking, are hotel and resort safes secure? So let's see what people are commenting. Never had a problem. Someone commenting that the safes are pretty easy to break into. Another one saying they don't have any issues. Lots of people saying that they didn't have any issues. Here's someone saying exactly what we do. You take a cash box with you and lock it inside your suitcase in your rooms. All safes have a key access, so trust no one. Back to the X-Files. Yeah, someone saying crime can happen, and that's true, and it can happen anywhere in the world. Yeah, another person saying they've got a little cash box or a lock box. That's a difficult one. I mean, yeah, I would recommend getting a cash box. They're not very expensive. You know, places like Amazon, you can get them for 20 to 30 bucks. Set your own PIN code on them. Ours has got a detachable strap on it, so you know, if you really wanted to be creative, you know, you can find somewhere, say for example, you know, if you can get under the bed, you could strap it around under the bed where probably no one's even going to think to look for it and lock it up. So yeah, I wouldn't rely on the hotel safes, particularly the ones in your room. So each to their own. There's a few comments there saying yes, stuff goes missing, and there's a few comments there saying they've never had any problem. Someone asking about medication. So in your customs declaration, there's a question about drugs, and I think most people confuse what that means. That basically means drugs of any sort, so even if it's prescribed to you. So you would need to tick yes to that box, and what is suggested that you do is you have a letter from your doctor saying, you know, what the medicine is, why you prescribed it, and how much you're taking. Make sure you have the medication in the original box and only have in it what you need for the time that you're there, and maybe if you know, a couple of extra days just in case. Customs seems to be a bit hit and miss. You know, sometimes you'll get asked to show your bags, sometimes you don't. So far we haven't actually been asked. It's pretty much just scan the QR code and see you later. But always best to be prepared in case you do get asked to go to the inspection line. I mean, this question has come from somebody who obviously hasn't done a lot of travel to tropical areas. They're asking whether jean pants will be too hot for Bali. Absolutely. Let's not don't even need to look at the comments. Yeah, you'll be very uncomfortable in jeans. Much better with lightweight, you know, sort of type like your dry fit type fabrics or linen. Jeans, denim, way too hot. Don't even pack them. Alright, so here's a question that actually comes up quite regularly. Unfortunately I don't know what it's like for other countries, but unfortunately for travel back to Australia, to a lot of the capital cities, we don't have a lot of choice apart from sort of 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. flights home. And with most of your checkouts being, you know, 11 or 12 o'clock that morning, what do you do in the meantime? So this person's asking, you know, is there somewhere you can check in your luggage and store it safely and that sort of thing? So what you'll see a lot of people recommend is that you actually book an extra night of accommodation. I mean, technically you don't end up using it, but what it means is that you can stay at the hotel that you're booked into till I don't know, 6, 7 o'clock at night, have dinner, and then head down to the airport, and not have to worry about anything. Others, there's a few hotels which are very, very close to the airport, and some of them even have shuttle buses. So a lot of people suggest that you book into one of those. Harris Hotel's one that I see a lot of people mention. They actually have a shuttle bus that runs to the airport, and apparently it's only about $50 for to stay for the afternoon until you're ready to leave. Um, and then people also talk about the Novotel at the airport. That's a little bit more expensive, but you can basically book a day rate there so that you can move from your hotel, wherever that might be in Bali, and then head to the Novotel and stay there again, have dinner, and head straight through into the airport. So Harris Hotel, Novotel, check their websites, and you can contact them direct to try and book that if you want to. Otherwise, speak to your accommodation that you're staying in and ask them how much for a late checkout. It'll definitely save you a lot of hassle. That's what we did last time. We just asked for a late checkout. I think it cost an extra $70, I think it was. And our driver came and picked us up about 6 o'clock. We went and had dinner, and then she took us to the airport. So easy peasy. Didn't have to worry about where storing luggage or anything anywhere. So here's one where they're talking about bargaining, and they've actually used the correct terminology, bargaining. So they're asking, what is the best starting and ending price for bargaining to be fair for both the seller and the buyer? For example, if the seller asks for 100k for an item, at what percentage should I start my first offer? And usually what is an acceptable end percentage of the original price to make both sides happy? Alright, let's see what people are saying. One of the first comments is the vendor won't sell it to you if it's not worth it to them. So again, a lot of this is probably knowing a rough idea of what the item might cost at in your home country, and keeping in mind that it is all fake stuff. How much you are actually prepared to pay. I wouldn't worry too much about the vendor, because as that other person said, they're not going to sell it to you if they're not happy with that price. So the other thing to be mindful of is just, if the vendor's not prepared to meet a price that you're happy with, just walk away, because there are so many shops selling exactly the same thing. Yeah, it's not like you're going to miss out. Yeah, and here's another comment, and it's pretty much exactly what I've just said to you. Know your price before you enter, and don't worry about the vendor. I mean, this probably relates to Australians. Think about what you would pay for something at Kmart and go under that for most cheap stuff. So the example they give is for dresses, they might start at 300,000 rupiah, but really they're only worth 50 to 100,000 rupiah in most cases. And what will happen at a lot of these shops is they always start to, one of the questions they'll fire back at you is how many. So let's say, for example, they started at 200,000 rupiah. Let's say you've agreed at 100,000 rupiah, or they might not even agree to the price first. They'll start asking how many, and you might have to get, in their eyes, you might have to buy two of them to get them for 100,000 each. This person's obviously not a Bali fan. They're basically saying some stuff is cheaper in Target, Kmart and Big W and better quality. Avoid the hassle. So I guess what they're saying is, why would you bother buying the stuff in Bali? Because you can get it better quality and cheaper at home. And then someone else has come in. Plus you'll get a receipt, you can exchange or return, and you don't have to pay excess baggage either. I'd say those two people aren't really that keen on Bali. So this is another piece of advice that's common. Someone's commented, go to the fixed price shops first and pay no more than what they're asking for an item. So if you've gone into a fixed price shop and they have a basketball jersey for 150,000 rupiah. That is the absolute most that you should pay for that same top anywhere else. And I'd suggest that would be my advice as well. Go to one of the fixed price shops, get a gauge of what the prices are, and then yeah, that is the maximum that you should pay anywhere. And it does work. It worked for us last time. All we had to do was say to this particular vendor who quoted a ridiculous price for a hoodie. We just turned around and said, "Well, no, it's only 200,000 at the fixed price shop up the road," and instantly he dropped his price down to match that. So it's definitely worth doing that. Someone's suggesting that you start at 50% of their first price, and you should land at 60 to 80%. Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with that, because you need to know your prices, because particularly if we had some people quote us like 500,000 rupiah for t-shirts, for example. That's $50 is just way too much for a t-shirt. So even 60% of that to 80% of that, you're still overpaying. So I'd say almost know your prices. So if you know you can get, say, a licensed t-shirt at Kmart or whatever for $20, that probably should be the most you should pay, because remember, these t-shirts aren't officially licensed. Alright, we'll call it quits for that. There's heaps more. I'm sure that topic's going to come up heaps more, and we'll cover it again. This could be interesting. This is a group where they basically just post a question and everybody comes in and comments on it. So their question that they've posted today is, what's your real Bali superpower? Dodging scooters, surviving bintang hangovers, or bargaining in markets? So let's see what people have commented. Sometimes this can be really funny. Yeah, first one that comes in is dodging Bali belly. Booking trips, bargaining in markets, celebrating Bali culture. That's it for now. Not a lot of people have commented on that one. The next one they put in here, one thing you'll always pack for Bali besides your passport. He's clearly not a Bali lover. This person's comment, return ticket out of there. Well, don't go there if you don't like it. Let's see, underpants, money, charger, power banks, power adapter, sunscreen, insect repellent, patience, swimming clothes, respect. Oh my god. I don't even know if I should mention this one. Someone has mentioned that they would pack a butt plug. I presume that's Bali belly related. Another one of their questions. What is the one single thing you love about Bali? Let's see what people are commenting. I don't have to cook. I can agree with that. Clearly another Bali hater. The plane out of the hole. Next comment, getting my washing done folded and in a plastic bag. Yeah, it is a good idea. We've done it a couple of times now, sort of second to last day. Get all your washing done. Yeah, it comes back, it's all neatly folded, smells nice. And then when you get home, especially on that midnight flight, you do not have to worry about any washing. You just chuck the bag, go to sleep. Someone's commented, the butt cleaning hose in the toilet. Oh dear me. A few comments, the people, rice terraces, beers on the beach, people. One person, it's not Melbourne. I think over the last couple of months, not anywhere in southern Australia, too bloody cold and wet. Yeah, a lot of people talk the food and the people. Common thing that's coming up. Yeah, that seems to be the common theme here, the food and the people. Next one, which sound reminds you most of Bali? Scooters buzzing, waves crashing, or geckos chirping? Let's see what people have commented. First comment, yeah, says that the morning sound of homemade brooms sweeping up plumeria flowers from the pathways around my room. Squirrels chattering, doves cooing, roosters crowing, geckos calling, the gardener sweeping, and beyond the scooters. This comment, you've probably seen a few videos making fun of this as well. Comment is constant scooters and bike, 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 bike. Oh my god. You'll get so used to that. Walking down the street, bike, bike. Yeah, another person's commented the same thing. Bike, bike. Yeah, and another one. Bike, 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 bike. Yeah. Well, this could be an interesting one. $50 budget, 1 day in Bali. What's your plan? First one. 15 bintangs and a bowl of chips. Next one. Nasi goreng, a couple of cocktails, a half leg and feet massage. Nasi goreng, our kids actually fell in love with that too. That's the one thing they keep talking about when we go back again next year. Nasi goreng tastes so much better when it's authentic. Yeah, another mention of nasi goreng. Another mention of nasi goreng. There's a few there. Yeah, a few people mentioning beers. Well, someone mentions apparently you can go quad bike riding for $50. Don't know about that, but that's about it for that one. Yeah, beers and nasi goreng are the winners there. You just landed in Bali. Where are you heading first? So let's see what people love bintang. First comment, hotel to dump off the suitcases, get changed, then off for a bintang somewhere. Second one, straight to a bar for a cold bintang. Third one, anywhere that sells bintangs. Fourth one, to my villa and then to the closest bar to get a bintang. Oh my god. Someone's commented the first place they're going is some seedy lane for a lady. I'll let you fill in the blanks. Oh, another vote for bintang. Yep, another one. And another one. And another one. Oh, here's a different one. Nasi goreng and watermelon juice. Makes you wonder why people get involved in these types of groups if they're not a fan. Because, yeah, here's a comment. First thing they're doing is booking a return flight. And another one, on a flight to Vietnam for a real holiday. Don't know why you join groups if you're not interested in the topic or the place. Yeah, bintang again. Ribs and a cold bintang. This person's commented, money changer, eSIM, which both you can find at the airport, and then outside for a smoke. Just do what I do. Take some nicotine gum on the plane with you, and then it's not so bad. Ice cold beers. Yeah, lots of people talking about bintang. Oh, sadly, there's a few comments about people going, first thing they're doing is getting a return trip home, but massages, yeah, bintangs and massages seem to be the winners here. Oh, here's another one. What's the weirdest thing you've seen on a scooter? Let's see what the comments are. Because, yeah, we definitely saw some weird things there. I mean, scooter with 4 or 5 people on it, plus the day's, trade or goods, or it's incredible. So this person said, a fridge, 2 men, and about 20 chickens or chooks. Apparently this person saw someone on a scooter, sitting backwards, holding a wheelbarrow with 6 meter pipes on board. That doesn't surprise me. A 3-seater lounge, a washing machine. Oh, and the last one here, someone's actually posted a photo. This guy is on his scooter. Looks like he's got buckets strapped all off the sides. And I think in the photo I can see probably 5 dogs. I don't know if you can see that much. But yeah, there's a very common thing to see on the streets. Yeah, but the sad thing is, like the ones that I've mentioned about seeing heaps of kids on the bike with mum and or dad, half the time none of them are wearing helmets, which is, yeah. You just pray nothing bad happens to them. Well, this could be interesting. One thing you would never do in Bali again, even if someone paid you to. Let's see what people are coming. So first one, get on a small outrigger boat from Nusa Lembongan to go snorkeling off Nusa Penida. Lucky to be alive after that one. Yeah, obviously, recently, very sadly, there's been quite a few accidents on those boats running between the islands. So, yeah, don't know if it's something that I would do myself. Next one, go to the monkey forest. We haven't been to the one in Ubud. We did go to Uluwatu. The time we were there, we didn't have any issues. The monkeys didn't even come close to us. So at one point one came up close and I just sort of turned and looked at it and said hello, and it sort of went off again. So, but obviously we all hear the stories, and even when we went to Uluwatu, our driver told us, leave everything in the car, sunglasses, hats, all that sort of thing. Don't take anything in there that you can't strap to yourself. So, I did take my camera, but obviously that's strapped around your neck, so it takes some effort for someone to take that. But apparently, the one at Ubud, I see a lot of people complaining about the sacred monkey forest, I think it is, the one that's actually in Ubud. A lot of people saying the monkeys are aggressive, people being bitten. No, this ain't great. One person's commenting about the monkey forest. Apparently they heard screaming in the treetops to look up to see 2 monkeys throwing a small kitten to each other from one tree to the next. Doesn't sound very good. Oh my god. Someone's commented, again I presume this is the Ubud monkey forest. Funniest thing they saw in Bali was that a monkey pulled down a woman's top in front of everyone. And apparently took the kid's teddy bear. Apparently it was like a scene from the movie Ted. How embarrassing for that lady. Some of you, if you've done your research, might have seen a video in, again, pretty sure it's the Ubud monkey forest, where, young gentleman sitting down on, and a monkey sort of on his lap, and then all of a sudden, the monkey must think that his manhood was a banana, and he goes to take a great big bite out of it. Luckily, the gentleman reacted quick enough that didn't actually happen. But yeah, here's someone saying that. Yeah, here's another person saying, when they went, a monkey pulled down their top and bra in front of everyone. And this person's claiming that apparently they were minding their own business and one of the monkeys just came up and bit them. So, so obviously those people would not go back to the monkey forest if they were paid to. This person is saying he would not get a massage by an over 50-year-old guy and say yes to a banana handshake. I'll leave that to you. Of course, we still get the Chappelle Corby references come up. Someone saying smuggle stuff in a bodyboard bag. Oh dear, not great. This person would not go bungee jumping again. Apparently, it took them 3 hours to jump off, and when they did, the rope was a little bit too long, and they broke their arm as they hit the ground. Ouch. I can understand the taking long to jump off. I did a bungee jump in Taupo in New Zealand. It is incredibly scary standing right on that edge, and you can't really move because the straps around your legs are very heavy and very tight. And yeah, it takes a bit of courage to jump off of there. Once you've done it though, you will be on an adrenaline high for at least the rest of that day. Oh dear. Bali lovers will understand this one. So this person will not do this ever again. Fart without a nappy on. So yeah, I'm sure most people would know what that means. Whitewater rafting. Again, this is another thing I've heard mixed reports of. And I would presume it depends on how much rain they've had leading up to you doing whitewater rafting. Some people have said it's a fantastic experience. Other people are going, oh, it's way too rough and they shouldn't have even let us go out there. This person's saying, what a day that was. Paddle mama. She's saying if she heard that one more time, she would have shoved that paddle where the sun don't shine. So this person would not leave their accommodation without tissues or toilet paper. This is a sarcastic comment, obviously. Sit on a beanbag eating a freshly cooked corn on the cob with garlic butter and washing it down with a cold, almost frozen bintang for only $5. Never again. Clearly sarcastic. Next person, take a Jetstar A320 Neo to get there. Well, unfortunately from Adelaide, we don't have much of a choice. From what I've heard, the Air Asia flights pretty similar to Jetstar, but without the USB chargers in your seat. So how are you going to keep your phone charged up while you're watching movies for the 5 hours? A friend of mine recently flew with Air Asia, and he said he even got in trouble for using a power bank to try and, keep the phone alive. So yeah, not great that you can't keep your phone charged up one way or another. Again, the monkey forest comes up. This person's saying it was really scary. Now, drink the coffee made from poo. So if you don't know what that is, that's the Uluwatu coffee. And you'll probably find around Ubud is where you'll find most of the farms. It's actually not that bad. We did try it. I can't remember the name of the farm that we went to. But nobody warned me that they leave the grounds in the bottom of the cup. So I went to finish off the cup, take a big swig, and ended up with a mouthful of what felt like sand, coffee grinds. So if you ever try it, just be mindful that once you get down to that last, quarter of a cup, there's probably a lot of coffee grounds left in there, and yeah, not a pleasant experience getting all that in your mouth. Yeah, here's another person saying they would not drink arak. And based on what our drivers told us, I wouldn't do that either, because you don't know whether... You have to be very careful. Apparently there's official versions that will come in a spirit bottle which are okay, but a lot of it's, made on home, made on the farm, and our driver told us some of it can be up to 90% alcohol, so Yeah, definitely be very, very careful with that one. Whitewater rafting again. Someone commenting they wouldn't go to Heaven's Gate. I haven't actually been there, but I do know that the photos that you see on Instagram and all that thing are pretty much fake. They're done with a mirror. So it doesn't actually look like what you see on all the influencers Instagram posts. It's one thing I hate when you see those photos online and you probably should know better, but you get this sort of idea in your head of what somewhere's going to be like, and then you get there and it's like, this is nothing like what I thought it would be. Oh, someone here talking about they would not get a massage again. Apparently, the massage person broke their rib. Yeah, bungee jumping, climbing Mount Batur in the dark. Yeah, apparently that's what happens when you want to go and do the watch the sunrise from Mount Batur. I personally wouldn't do the walking version of that. My knees would not like me for doing that. But you can get the Jeep versions, which will take you up to the top. Yeah, monkey forest again. Go anywhere near monkeys. Another person. And a warning for all you newbies. This person's commented, scratch that scratchy and waste half a day on timeshare. Now, when you're walking around the tourist areas, you'll more than likely find them at intersections. What they will do is offer you a prize card. And I'm guessing that pretty much every card wins something. My wife did this the first time we went there. I told her not to, but apparently she was curious as to what this was all about. So yeah, we opened them. I apparently won a t-shirt, which apparently all I had to do was go around to Garlic Lane to some tourist office. But of course my wife won ₹1,000,000. But the only way to get that prize was to actually go with them down to the resort. So it's a scam, but not really a scam. So it is a legitimate timeshare proposal that they want to take you to. But I'm guessing, and what I've seen from comments is, these prizes that you apparently win, they magically disappear if you don't sign up for the timeshare. So my advice is that unless you're planning to go to Bali very regularly, you've got some money that you want to invest in a timeshare accommodation, by all means go for it. But if you're not, just when they go to offer you the cards, just a polite no thank you and just keep walking. Yeah, lots of people, the monkey forest and whitewater rafting is coming up a lot that people would not do again if they were paid to. No, seafood dinner at Jimbaran, overcooked, overpriced and overrated. Yeah, don't know if I necessarily agree with all of that. But sometimes things are just about the experience. We did do it. It was just, a really nice experience having dinner actually on the beach. You didn't have to get up to do anything. Sunset, beautiful weather. So the food wasn't, high standard, but it was enjoyable and it was really just the whole experience. Band playing as well. It was just a nice experience. But would we do it again? Nah, probably not. Here's another one. Something they wouldn't do. Trust a fart. Again, another Bali Belly reference. Alright, so that's it. Probably bored you enough for this week. Well, hopefully I haven't bored you. Hopefully you've learnt something. Any questions? Any comments or advice that you can give on any of the things that we've talked about tonight? Please leave a comment below. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. hopefully you've learnt something. Safe travels, and we hope we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.